Hey guys, it's Ashley with Wholesaling Out of the Box. Today we're going to talk about Chapter 9 of Traction by Gino Wickman. So yeah, that's we've been going through this chapter by chapter for the last few weeks, and you should have seen it in your podcast feed or on YouTube. And this is going to be our second to last episode on this book. And if you have suggestions on books that we can do in the future, business books, mindset books, anything that you think would be helpful for new wholesalers or just anyone looking to do real estate investment, let us know. Reach out. If you look in the show notes, it has our email address and other ways to contact us. So Shawn, go ahead.
Awesome. Guys, welcome back. This is our final chapter, and we're finishing up with you. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed this, and we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to it and hopefully help guideline for step. It has helped our business tremendously, has helped our team tremendously, and even while we've been going through this book, we have been growing and building new things. So this is the part of the chapter where it refers to pulling it all together and really starting to understand what this book is about. And I would say this is probably with the team, it's my first time doing it. With me personally, this is about the fourth time I've gone through this book, and every single time I pick up something new, every single time. So this is one of those things, guys, whether it be us as a chapter or a listening standpoint or a listening point that you catch, or if you do it on your own, I highly recommend going back to these types of books and taking the time to write notes, highlight, be specific, right? These are the things that really, really help you as a company, and it's helped us tremendously. So fortunately, we're able to finish this up with you guys, and let's get to it. So chapter 9 is putting it all together. Now that the context is clear, mastery of all 6 key components is within your reach. You're well on your way to achieving 100%. Mastery means that you and your leadership team understand each tool and have implemented them properly. The combination of strengthening the vision, people, data, issues, processes, and traction components is what makes the real magic occur. This book started from the premise that whether consciously or unconsciously, successful entrepreneurs have a habit of strengthening 6 components of their business. And to the degree that you can do it yourself, you will build a great organization. And guys, I cannot put that in better context of saying a great organization. The guys that you see on here today, between Ashley and Cam, and we don't have Jacob with us right now, but this is why our team is so strong. Okay. This is a very, very core piece. So keep that in mind while you're building your team. As a result, your frustrations regarding control of your time and your business will diminish. Frustrations about employees will fail away because you will be surrounded by the right people and the right seats, AKA right ass, right seat. You will finally break through the ceiling that you've been hitting. You will transform your everyday business, and ultimately you will realize your organization's vision. At this point, I hope you see the premise is true. The closing this guy is talking about is on all my correspondence is stay focused. Every person, if they could just do that, they would be happier and more successful. We live in a world that inundates us with information. There is so much shiny stuff going on. It's very hard to concentrate. If I could leave you with one message, it is this: stay focused. As for what to focus on, that's your decision. And it's all with answering the 8 questions. So I want to take it over to the rest of the team and kind of go through these for a hot second. But the follow-up here is how they individually feel from reading the book, knowing that this has been the core of our company and how it was brought up, but them going through it during these recordings and getting feeling and feedback. So Ashley, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to go back and continue to focus just on chapter 9 because we are going to do the separate wrap episode about like the book as a whole. But, just kind of looking at, I'm going through the book here, and at one point it talks about staying committed to the 90-day world. And I just think that is a really important part of this chapter that we didn't touch on in that little summary, but it's super important. I think one of those things where you're never going to see results right away. We're not seeing results right away with anything we do. And we have to constantly remind ourselves, okay, give yourselves at least 90 days to test it out and try it and see how things are going to be moving forward, because then at least you have some kind of data that you can use and decide, okay, well, maybe it's not working because we're not doing this kind of advertising, or it's not working because we're not making enough calls, just anything like that. So I think, not quitting right away when you don't see results right away, because it is going to be an uphill battle to get your company where you want it to be.
Cam?
Yeah. Well, what resonates with me here in this little wrap up of 9 is the shiny objects. So that is a trap, man, and it's easy to go down into that. And I think we as a company are good at discussing, new ideas, discussing ways to shift, building out pros and cons and see if that's something we need to do. But also, as an organization or as a newer wholesaler, don't get wrapped up in those shiny objects. There's too many things going on. You know what I mean? You have to focus. And that's the other thing it talks about, right? On making calls, talking to sellers, and getting things under contract. There's a lot of shiny objects, and most of them just suck up your time and you feel like you're being productive and you're not. So that's definitely overall something that the book helped me with when I first read it, which was a couple of years ago, I believe. So that's where I would focus here on 9, get rid of or ignore those shiny objects and stay focused. And that's the whole point of the book.
Yep. Yeah. So the other piece I really wanted to touch on was the frustration that most owners, and this we're talking to either existing companies or new wholesalers that want to get going, is the frustration of what it's like to hire a team and what it's like to bring that team on. And do they embody the core values of yourself? And do you yourself have your core values written? That was a piece of the book and a chapter in the book that was discussed. And I think that once, and this is from an owner standpoint, looking back and having a team behind me, it really brings home the value of what it's like to bring on another team member. And we were fortunate enough to just do that. And during all of this, anytime a new team member's come onto this team, they've all been through the team, right? Ashley said that she never got her chance, but that's because she was the OG. She was the original. But from there, everybody that's ever come onto this team has always been through a company setting, and it's a team setting of asking, like, hey, does that person, somebody that you think would fall in love with us as a company and that we want to work with? And unanimously, it always comes across as a yes or no, right? And so far, we're fortunate enough to have a yes, and we were able to just bring on a new person. So that was our first junior associate
acquisitions
manager. See, it's an acronym. I don't even have it yet. And it's awesome to have that person with us.
Yeah.
So as we finish this up, I just want to say, anybody that's building a team, take the time to really think about you as yourself and what you want your company to look like and the people that work with you. I mean, this is day in, day out, right? And if that doesn't fit, that person, you will find out later on they're not a good fit, and know now before waiting for later, right? So I as a business owner, and I think as you have the team members here, I want to make this a very big piece, to take the time to really core value yourself out and bring on people to work with you that embody that. It'll make your company, your life, your enjoyment of this business a lot better.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully you'll be able to meet that new team member soon. For anyone that's watching or listening, yeah, we're going to start onboarding, and then they'll be on the podcast and the YouTube channel.
Yep.
Before you end though, Shawn, I just kind of want to keep going through this chapter a little bit, because I think it just has some really great points as you're starting to grow your business. And the next one in here is, you will hit a ceiling again. And I think that's something that we realized, about 6 months ago, right as Cam was coming on full time with us, that we were about to hit that ceiling. And that we needed to start expanding, whether that meant we were doing more volume here in this area, expanding outwards into other areas. It's a conversation we've been having over the past few months, because we knew that was coming. And so I think it can be very frustrating when you hit that ceiling, and it can be very compelling to kind of go to that shiny object on the side. But you gotta stick. It's just all about sticking with it, because yeah, I mean, it was very frustrating when we finally hit that point like a month ago, and it was kind of like, oh, we knew this was coming, but it's finally here, and now we gotta actually do things about it. We can't just keep talking about it.
Yeah, I agree. It's all part of the growing pains of building a business, because as you start as the one and only in your company, you're doing everything, and then you slowly start to hire because you're getting things off of the plate that are not your best resource, but can be by bringing the right person. Again, that's the right person in the right seat, right? We talk about that in our company all the time. It's a running, I don't say running joke, but it is, right? Where there's certain pieces of this puzzle that are in operating procedures, but individuals don't know what those are. So having that built on your company is something that's really important. And yeah, it's, I'm glad that we hit it and we'll break through it. And I'm looking forward to where we're going, because we as Full Circle Investment Group have a lot that are in the works, and they are moving really fast. And that can be really uneasy as a business owner, but even as a team member can be really, really uneasy, where you're like, oh man, I don't know. From the development, Cam's done a lot of things. Ashley's done, Jacob's done, to us bringing on these VAs to help us do things. You know, there's just a lot of stuff in the background. And on this podcast, and I say it all the time, but I want to thank every single person on my team that helps Full Circle as a company grow, because we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for the team. It's a guaranteed thing, right? So I say thank you to you guys now, but I always tell you guys thank you. So it's not the first time you hear that. But here we have it on a podcast. So thank you guys for all the hard work you guys do. What else we got?
Well, I just wanted to kind of tell you guys too that Shawn mentioned, having the right ass in the right seat. And we sort of had that moment a couple of times today, once with Shawn and then once with Cam, where Shawn was like, I didn't know how to generate this contract over the weekend. So I just waited until today.
Totally.
And so I walked him through that. And then, Cam, if you want to explain kind of what happened literally like 10 minutes before we started recording today.
I got involved in a new process of uploading things that I didn't usually do. That's something more Ashley would do, but I missed one crucial step, and now I got some work to go through. So good training, good SOP, but it's something that we missed. So yeah, definitely having the right team in place to help you through that, because I didn't know what was going on, and Ashley dug into it and figured it out. And in the end, I botched something.
But I think that really goes back to, like, it's bigger isn't always better. And sometimes you have to slowly expand, because if you start giving like everything that I was doing or Cam was doing or Shawn was doing to one other person, it's going to be too much. They're going to make mistakes. And I mean, mistakes are part of it, but you want to try to minimize that as much as possible. And, just expand slowly so that you can handle it.
Intentionally, and record your process. That's another piece of this that I think we had talked about in a certain chapter, but recording your processes and making it so that when a team member that has decided like they're not going to longer work with you, or if something happens to them that they can't work, is there an ability for somebody to step in even for a short period of time and do that role is very, very important. It's just an example today, the stuff that we talked about right now is an example of that. So anybody listening to this, get very comfortable to build videos when you do things, to make it part of your training process, so that if you put these videos together and then train that person, they should be able to clearly be able to do it. And if not, come back and ask specific questions. That is a game changer, guys. I promise you. From videos to written up processes, that is a guaranteed you need to have. And I'm glad that we have made that now a thing that every single time we're like, do we got an SOP for it? Like, nope, but we will. So.
Yeah. And including every little thing in that too, because there are things that you think may be normal, but are not normal. We've had this thing lately where people don't realize in Podio, which is the CRM we use, that there's a second row of apps in there, because I never stated in any of my videos that if you click a little arrow, it expands the menu, because I just use it all the time. And I don't know, I never really thought about it, but now I have to go back and re-record some of those videos for that one little piece that I didn't explain. So even if it feels like you're talking too much, sometimes it's worth it. And then, you know, it's not you, at least. Detail.
It matters. So we good? Wrap it up?
One final thing, and then we can move on. So the last thing the book talks about is taking a clarity break. And this is something that I think is super important, and I think we need to try to start implementing in our business personally, but for you guys as well, because I think it's so easy to get lost in the little things that you're doing, in the things that admittedly have to get done so that you can run your business effectively. But you need to be able to take a step back outside of your office or the space where you work, and to be able to give yourself half an hour, an hour a week to just kind of take a deep breath and think about your business. Think about what you're doing your business for, why you started it in the first place, where you want it to be, and just take notes, or just think. It really doesn't matter, to give yourself that, what they call a clarity break, to take that step back, breathe a little bit, and give yourself the opportunity to take joy in the business that you've created.
I agree. That's a good one. Taking the time to sit back and think. That's a thing that most people don't think about. It's funny you say that, like think, but take time to think, or be thankful for what you created and what's come of it, because you should be happy for it. And it's a hard thing to do. You forget that you put all this energy, time, and effort into it, and you forget to think about it. Like, damn, we've come a long way from where we were to where we're at, right? So that's a really good one. I like it.
Yeah. Cam, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I honestly, I think I forgot about that part of the book, but that's a really good point. The clarity break, because there's always something. You're right. There's always details, or there's always a new challenge, right, that we're facing every day or every week, right? But sometimes it's good to reflect back on the past 6 weeks or 6 months or whatever it may be, and remember all the huge accomplishments that were made, right? And it kind of puts those problems in front of you in perspective, and be like, okay, well, I got through all that, right? And we made leaps and bounds off of that. So once I get through these, the bounds are going to be even longer. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a really, really, really good point. I forgot about that. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. Any final thoughts from you guys on chapter 9?
Nope. I think it says it in its title. Wrapping it all up together.
Putting it all together. Yeah, we're going to do the wrap it all up and what you guys will see next week. But what we'll do right now. Yep. So the magic of recording ahead of time. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for listening in. I know that this one was a little bit on the shorter side, but we have some really good stuff for the next one. And again, if you have ideas about what books we can do, any topics you want us to discuss, anyone that you think we should interview, I mean, we are totally open to any kinds of ideas for the content and the questions that you have that we can help you with via the podcast or the YouTube channel. So just reach out and let us know. And if you can, leave us a review and a rating. Those always help us. And thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day.